So, hello everyone, I'm proa007. Very happy to be joining you here today. As stated, I'm running a Syphon filter for the PlayStation, any percent mode. So, sorry for the menu screen. I had to adjust my controls before we begin. So, I'll count down once I hit start game. And I'll be going over the game as we begin. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Syphon filter, as I said, it turned 20 earlier this year.
When does the operation
and
begin?
it's an interesting game. It took a lot of inspiration, certainly from Tomb Raider and other like-minded games of the day. Certainly probably took some inspiration from GoldenEye and Half-Life and what have you. And the game itself is actually fairly straightforward. It's largely an execution-based game with some AI manipulation and a couple of sequence breaks as I go along. But other than that, so first up here I have to protect the CBDC agent in the bank while he defuses a bomb. So I'm going to help myself to an M16 here, which is largely a safety play. And that's a very quick checkpoint from the CBDC agent. That's not so quick. Guard getting in my way there. Normally you need 4 guards to appear on the screen to trigger the checkpoint, and that can be very random as far as when that happens. Now, one thing you probably noticed is as I opened that crate for the M16, I fired the M16 at the same time I was opening the crate, which is about a 2-second time save, because normally Gabe bends down to open the crate and all that. So this little sequence, this little skip will be used quite often during the run. Not just for ammo crates, but for switches and other objects that I need Gabe to interact with. So here's Kravich.
I've taken out Kravich and destroyed the comm equipment, but I don't see their uplink dish.
Kravich has a weird hitbox. His head seems to be a lot smaller than normal. Now that little climb skip there is a very recent addition to the repertoire. Baron Haynes actually discovered it about a year ago, and basically as Gabe's foot touches a platform, if you press the aim button and move forward, you again will save a little bit of time through the animation.
The ramp in the first terminal should be clear now.
You got to be a little careful with that, because if you go a little too fast like I just did there, Gabe actually drops down. But it's pretty easy to learn though. Okay, so going down into the subway here, and there's a viral bomb I'm going to have to tag. And I'm going to do a variation on the interaction skip. We're going to have Gabe crouch and interact with the object at the same time. And that saves about 1 second.
Beacon set.
That only
Tell
works
CBDC
with
guys
bombs
down
and
here.
fuel tanks, so it doesn't get nearly as much utility as the main interaction skip. It's got to be a little careful with the trains, because yes, they can run you over, and yes, that's an instant death, but that's not really a major issue here. Can't really see in the dark without a flashlight, but you can more or less guess on where it is and go from there, that switch. So, end of the first level here, which again is pretty straightforward as far as the mission goes. It's pretty, it's just based on execution. The next mission coming up, which is the destroyed subway, has a couple of interesting skips I'm going to attempt here. Most of them are pretty easy.
Gabe, what's happening?
Just picking up some extra shotgun ammo. That'll come in handy later on.
I'm setting a beacon. Wait.
Okay, so with the destroyed subway level, there is a fire skip here that saves about 30 seconds if I if done correctly. But I'm going to have to take a bit of damage in the process. That was a good fire skip. There are a few more of those in the game, but they're much later on. But it's normally you're supposed to go all the way around and then get down to here to where that C4 was.
So I noticed you chose not to save at the end of that level. How much time does that save?
About 4 to 5 seconds.
All right.
I do have a safety file in case anything does go wrong, so. But, yeah, if you save, yeah, that does waste time. So normally in a speed run, we just skip that altogether. So this is what I'm doing here with the planning the C4 and then going for the gas main is actually in the reverse intended order, but we found that it actually saves about 3 to 4 seconds doing it this way.
Leon, I found the gas main. I'm shutting it down.
There is a very small risk of actually the CBDC agent getting killed, but your timing really has to be off for that to happen. That was a pretty clean bomb to gas main and then back again. Now, rolling off these platforms here, if done correctly, will give you a little bit of a time boost, but if you miss and Gabe has to sort of stagger and as he lands, that costs about 1.5 seconds. Like that. But luckily that was the end of the level.
So how wide is the window on
Aramov
your timing there?
It's pretty generous actually. You know, as long as you're not like running right off the edge or like way too early, you know, like one or two steps, I'd say. So this is gonna be a quick Mara kill, I hope. Okay, got her. That saves about 5 seconds. Otherwise, I'd have to go under that barrier and then shoot her in the head. Somehow she lives. Don't ask. Recurring villain syndrome.
Death is a minor
I'm
inconvenience.
on my way to the park.
Until it isn't. Okay, the park mission here is really the first major choke point in this run, and it really comes down to a certain point in this level. There are 4 bombs we have to tag and then protect CBDC agents while they defuse it. 3 are pretty simple. It's the second one that's going to be a bit of a challenge.
CBDC has the signal. They're on their way. Stand by. Cover me.
Good guard pattern there. So basically, the second bomb, the main problem with it is I'm basically protecting the CBDC agent from a 360-degree window. And the guards will come at you from all directions. So I have to be pretty cognizant of where they are and how close they are and whether they're targeting me or whether they're targeting the CBDC agent. And that can be a bit of a jumble at times. So I'll try and focus here on this one.
Stand by. Cover me.
I actually played it fairly safe there. Normally 5 guards is enough, and usually a 6th will come running, but I just wanted to be absolutely sure, because if that goes wrong, that's over 1 minute time loss. And that's also partly why I got the M16 in the first level. Wait for this to rebuff her. Sometimes it takes a second. The M16 actually loses me a little time in the first level, but it's a good safety for the 4th mission. I've kind of gone back and forth on whether it's faster or not. It's really dependent on enemy patterns. for this level. Okay, that's good. It also helped. It also is worth noting I don't really get any access to M16 ammo in this level. It's all 45s and shotguns. So all the more reason to pick it up in the first level if you're more comfortable with it.
Stand by.
Cover me.
That should be enough. Yep. So that was good. Like, whenever you get past the 4 bombs, then you're in pretty good shape.
Now, just to be sure, sure, we're disarming the bombs or arming the bombs here?
Disarming.
Okay.
They're viral bombs armed that contain Syphon filter.
Oh, so we're not the ones trying to poison everyone.
No.
Oh.
We're trying to save the world.
Oh, I thought we were going to get to be the bad guy for once.
Right.
Well, we can get into a philosophical discussion about that one, but for the moment, we'll assume we're the good guys. Yeah, and that section with the CBDC agents in the tennis courts, that's stealth. I have to be quiet with my weapons until I save them, because otherwise they'll be automatically killed. So here is a communications array.
Right.
Okay, I was hoping to do like a double roll off this platform here. It was a little early on my movement. So I'm going to take care of this shotgun guard because if he makes noise, he'll alert Marcos, who's kind of a pseudo mini-boss that I have to take out before I go to the Freedom Memorial. And if he gets alerted, he starts running all over this hedge maze, and it's a real time sink trying to catch him. And he's pretty dangerous, actually. He's probably the first really accurate enemy you face in the game. So I've got plenty of shotgun ammo for Gurdu, which is a pretty straightforward fight, but if I screw up, I could end up getting killed.
I'm at the entrance. Tell
Those guys have
CBDC to get their team
stormtrooper
moving.
accuracy.
Hurry, Gabe. We don't have much time.
Well, they get better, actually, as the game goes on. Romer went cheap on the first phase of terrorists, but they get better as the game goes on.
Anton Gurdu. I hope Romer's paying you enough to...
So Gurdu has a flame, as noted, as a flamethrower. I just got to hit this fuel tank 3 times. Simple. Thank you.
Gabe, are you all right?
He's finished, Leon.
Okay, so first section of the game is down. So now we go on to the first real stealth mission of the game,
We've analyzed blood
where I'm
taken
going to
from
be
Romer's
following
men. It
Fagin.
contains
At least that's what the game wants me to do. I'm going to attempt the
Check.
world-famous Fagin skip here, which will save about 90 seconds if I do it correctly on the first try. Good setup. Okay, so basically you're actually supposed to follow Fagin all the way through this to this cutscene, but if you get ahead of him
What
in
are
the
you doing here?
Stonehenge, you save about 90 seconds doing that.
Gabe, Fagin's run for it. Romer and Aramov would have to...
Okay, Benton is
He's
another
finished.
very dangerous early antagonist, but luckily I was able to get him before he starts running. If he runs like Marcos, he can be a real troll to have to deal with. So there's going to be a lot of interaction skips in this level. The other thing I was going to mention with the Fagin skip is those first 2 guards. I was watching the dot closest to me and counting the movements Once it goes about 5 movements, then I'm able to kill the other guard without alerting the other one. So JY, who really perfected the Syphon filter speedrun, actually came up with a very consistent way of doing that. Otherwise, it was basically, you know, poke and hope for a long time. So, going down the fun slide there. So, the rest of this mission is pretty basic. It's a lot of me grabbing key cards and opening doors. That's really what the rest of the mission comes down to. The guards you get after you take out the key card guard down here at the bottom of this temple is pretty random. I got 3 that time. It could be anywhere from like 2 to 5, I think. Whatever the game is serving that day, I guess. So the rest of this mission is pretty basic, so you got anything else you want to talk about, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the run is the most important thing here, but I mean,
Well, if you had any like donations or such.
not at the moment, but feel free to, you know, if you're watching and you want to get something dumb read on stream, or you want to have something to say, you can put in a donation. You can also vote for your favorite games to be added for our tournaments next year, or or you can get some merchandise or important, you know, awesome things to show off your speed gaming awesomeness. Anyway,
And I'll do a plug here. Put in money for Mario 3 randomizer.
oh, Mario 3 randomizer. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I'm basically running the side event here for this year, so you know, the more the better. It's going to be a good tournament, I think.
So, so we started. There's a lot of new, you know, a lot of interesting little environments in this museum here.
Yeah.
Earlier on, I was thinking a lot of the textures and things looked kind of similar, and that I'd get lost, but that kind of dried up after the first couple levels.
Yeah. Yeah, they do a good job of sort of varying everything and making sure it's really hard for you to get lost.
Oh, is this the studio where they faked the moon landing?
Yes, it is. Fagin not oh dear, no.
Oh no.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's like 90 seconds. Oh well. That's why I set the timer at 1:15. Yeah, that section with with the catwalk, you got to be really careful because if you make a mistake, yeah, it's an instant death. Unfortunately. So that's a pity, but we'll move on.
Maybe I'll just shut up the rest of the time.
That's all right. Nah, that's all right. Truth be told, I actually got thrown off a little bit because there was an extra guard on the moon lander. That usually doesn't happen. Usually I have to deal with 2 guards on the catwalk. Instead, I only got 1 that time. So that also kind of threw me off. Okay. Yeah, that's. Okay. That's better.
Okay.
Okay, so this next mission is really short. There's a little bit of AI manipulation I'm going to be doing at the very end to get rid of a enemy spawn. This gun I'm using, the K3G4, is probably the most powerful in the game. It actually, any guard wearing flak jackets, and they will become more plentiful as the game goes on. Normally you're supposed to go for headshots, but the K3G4 will cut through flak jackets. No problem.
Oh, so you can fall through that, just not off of a catwalk with about 30.
The glass broke his fall. I don't know. Fall physics are random in this game. What can I say? Okay, shotgun guard appears normally. He can be a little random, that guy. So yeah, coming up here, there's going to be 2 guards that appear by this keypad. I want both of them to appear right away, and I'm going to ignore them and then go into this next room. See, they're making a fool of me. Uh-oh. Good thing this guard has a flak jacket, otherwise it'd be in a little bit of trouble. Making sure they're gone, because if they start shooting while I'm dealing with Mara here, she'll kill Fagin. And here's the first and only use of the taser. Sorry, fans.
Or I will kill you.
There goes Fagin. Is Mara still alive?
Yes. Now to get some answers.
Hurry. More security is on its way.
There's actually a way where we haven't figured it out, but you can actually save about 1.5 seconds if Leon doesn't talk. I don't know why, but it does. On the other hand, I will save about 2 seconds here by killing Mara.
Is Mara alive?
But the mission's already over anyways. So now this next mission here, Roamer's Base, is probably the most random in the run. The enemy, this is designed to be kind of a quasi-stealth mission, but I'm probably going to dispense with that pretty quickly. I just want to pick up some PK102 ammo. And I'm not even getting nearly as much as I wanted. Normally I just take out the first 4 guards I see and then let the alarm go off, because this gives me a nice baseline for a PK102 ammo. That didn't happen, but it's not really a big deal. So there's basically a bottomless pit of guards as far as the game's concerned. Luckily, only 5 can appear at one time, so there is that. But the mission basically revolves around me planting the explosives on these fuel tanks, and got to be a little careful because the guards can destroy them by mistake, which would be a mission over.
So this time we are making the explosives happen.
This time we are making the big boom. Okay, so Gabrick is up ahead here. He's sort of another sort of pseudo mini boss, but he's got a key card. Okay, he ran. That's what I was afraid of. That's not good. Yep. Oof. Yeah, Gabrick running was not what I wanted. Let's see. Okay, there he is. The good bit of news is if you die, actually the enemy patterns sort of reset. Their positions reset to their starting point, so you get a little bit of a buffer there.
So at least much safer on the second try.
Yeah, yeah.
I found the power to the motion sensors.
I hope for a good
I'm heading
pattern
over to
here.
the
There's going to be
bunkers
6 guards that appear in 2 waves of 3 after I plant this last
now. That's the
explosive.
last explosive. I'll trigger the timer once I'm on the roof and have disabled their radar.
It's a very good pattern. The combat shotgun takes them out in 1 hit. It's only 5 guards today.
Okay.
So
even better pattern, I guess.
yeah, that was. These guards are these guards with the shotgun aren't really much of a threat, so I'm not too worried about them. Guards up ahead can be a little random as they're coming around the corner here. And the shotgun, because it has auto aim, the shotgun can kind of jerk around from left to right, and you can miss your shot by mistake. But happily, that is not the case here. And there's going to be 3 guards here at the end. I'm just going to ignore them. right to left sweep, and there we go, end of mission. So coming up next is where the interaction skip gets the most play in the run. There's going to be 10 missiles I have to catalog and a lot of doors to open.
Leon.
All of them need the interaction skip. If I had full health, I would have just gone ahead and shot the switch and run through, but since I was about half health, I've decided to just shoot the switch and then grab the flak jacket, mostly as a safety. It shouldn't be a major issue, but if I have full health for the next mission, that'll save a couple of seconds. Okay, 3 guards there at the door. How they appear is random, but getting them all 3 together is pretty good.
Now, just for those of us who might have joined late, when you say the interaction skip, that's the thing where you shoot before you interact with something, so you don't get the little cutscene?
Basically at the same time. I'm shooting and interacting at the same time. So in this case, I'm pressing the square and triangle buttons at the same time. Like that.
Gabe, check your fire. Damaging that missile could set it off.
Thank you, Leon. Hoping to get through an entire mission without her saying that, but that never happens. Even if another terrorist shoots it, I end up getting blamed for this. I don't know why. But just 4 more missiles to catalog. Then on to the base tower.
Now, I'm sure you're used to this, but one of the thing that I see the most when I'm watching this is that run animation.
Yeah. If I had a quarter for every time I heard that one.
I've got the last
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to find a way
as
to
I
get out
said
power on
at the
roof.
beginning, they were heavily influenced by Tomb Raider. That was sort of their model when they were making the game, and the influence certainly shows.
I just want to see somebody try to do that in real life.
Get ready to dust off.
It's a neat trick if you can pull it off. So now we're at the second boss of the game, which is the attack chopper. Now I'm going to try and go for a 2-cycle here with the chopper, and I figured out a way to make it fairly consistent,
Leon, I'm on.
but it's still a bit touch and go. Basically, I'm going to stand right here in the middle, and I'm going to shoot this switch, and then the chopper is going to appear in 1 of 2 locations. Okay, so straight ahead. I'm going to use the target button, and I'm just going to start spamming on this. Should be okay. Basically, if I stand behind that pillar, it can't shoot me. Yes, alright, 2-cycle.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Okay. Now there is another skip here. It's called the fire truck skip. I will attempt it once. Basically, this will save about 40 seconds if I do it correctly. Basically, there's this flaming wreckage here, and if I do a correct roll, I can actually get around most of this level. Okay. Whew. Oh, I'm not out of the woods yet. Oh, well.
Just a little bit of health there left, but nicely done.
29-minute first half. All right, good. Okay, everything you saw is completely irrelevant.
Syphon.
Now the real run begins. The next 9 missions take over 2/3 of the running time.
Right.
And these 3 missions here, the stronghold missions, are going to be about 25 minutes, 23 to 24 minutes. And now, The main crux of this is I'm going to kill a bunch of scientists and give this this vaccine to a bunch of test subjects.
I found the first group of patients. Check.
Now, this is notorious, I know, for casual players because it's basically a giant fetch quest. The good news is there is no RNG as far as where the scientists and the test subjects appear, so you can make out a pretty consistent route. Hopefully you can aim better than I can.
Now, is there RNG associated with the enemies or anything like that?
A little bit, but not much. There is going to be a little bit of manipulation toward the middle of this mission. But other than that, no, there's really nothing as far as that's concerned. We have to be a little careful here with these 3 scientists coming up because I'm going to throw a gas grenade. I'm going to take all 3 of them out at the same time. However, if I get caught in the gas grenade's radius, that's an instant death, and that's about a 2-minute time loss. It's pretty unlikely, but I'm going to play it safe on this one. Okay. There we go. Okay. So yeah, so the rest of this mission is pretty basic as far as the route. There are a couple of minor dangers with some of these guards because, as we said, stormtrooper aim, but sometimes they decide to remember what they learned and actually really do some damage if you let them. But I'm not too concerned. These guys.
So what does the UN have to do with this?
The WHO and the UN are being used as by Fagin to transport the virus without them knowing.
Ah.
At least near as I can tell, that's what it is. The story in this game is a bit vague at times.
I like how stained glass window appears out of nowhere.
Yeah. That's, I think, a product of the PAL version, because that's what I'm running on. The PAL version is actually faster than the NTSC version by about 4 minutes. Now, that scientist ran, which I don't want, but...
Was that the same one, or did he go somewhere else?
Normally that scientist just stands there, but if he runs, that just is a minor inconvenience, because when I take care of that test subject, 2 guards come up and try and ambush me at the same time. So it's more of just a sequential thing. I'd like to do take care of the scientist and then the test subject rather than, both at the same time. So now here in the library, I'm actually going to try and provoke the guards to appear if they don't already see me, because I want to get as many guards in here as possible. Because this is going to help with the next section up ahead on the walkway. That guard I'm taking care of, but hopefully more guards appear, because otherwise I'm going to have to deal with two guards on the walkway instead of 1. Yeah, it's going to be 2. That guard behind the lab table is random. Sometimes he appears, sometimes he doesn't. I haven't been able to figure out when and how he appears, and as far as that's concerned. So let's see. There's one more scientist after this. All test subjects have been accounted for. Got to be a little careful with these boxes here. Because yes, fall physics. Yes, he can drop through a through the ceiling, but for some reason, not in other cases. Okay, so that's the last scientist. Hoping to have a little more PK-102 ammo for the next mission, but this should be all right. I'm just ignore these two guards. Both of them have flak jackets. There's actually a K3G4 that I passed up about halfway through the mission. Used to be kind of required, but going without it until the catacombs is fine. That's really where it only really pays off. Okay, so that's the end of Stronghold mission. So the lower level mission of the Stronghold is more of the same: kill scientists and save test subjects. The test subjects, though, will be taken care of by the halfway point of this mission. There's only, I think, 4 of them. Yeah, 4. There's like 9 scientists. I'm going to actually provoke the scientists at the end of this corridor to come out by just shooting randomly. There are actually a couple of setups for that scientist. Some prefer to have him come down the stairs because he'll actually stop by these boxes, but I just prefer to take care of him right then and there. There might be a guard here at the top of this walkway. Nope. Sometimes he appears, sometimes he doesn't. Again, haven't been able to figure out a consistent setup here. Now, this scientist here is actually surprisingly dangerous. The scientists are, of all people, have the least amount of stormtrooper aim. They're very dangerous, actually. Who knew? So gotta be careful with these boxes here. If I run too far and too fast off the edge, I basically carry the run physics with me, and I'll end up dropping to the ground, and yes, I will die. And with these missions in particular, you really do not want to die, because it's likely going to be a major time loss if you do. The checkpoints are not very especially forgiving in this game. They got a little better with Syphon filters 2 and 3, but in this one, not so much. There are some missions where you only have 1 checkpoint throughout the entire level.
I didn't see that scientist die, but apparently he did.
Basically, yeah, he spawns in that spot by the crate, so the reason I did the route the way I did is so I could get rid of him in that spot, because normally if you go up that ramp, he'll run towards you, and there's a decent chance you'll miss, actually, because he runs really quick. Okay, that's the last test subject. And but yeah, that's one where we're just manipulating the AI starting point to make it a little quicker. So that where Gabe is jumping and then climbing on something, that's sort of a double interaction skip where I'm basically doing 2 movements to make Gabe climb a little faster. It saves about a second when he jumps, and then I do the little interaction skip.
So how much time overall does the interaction skip save basically throughout the run?
The ones with the objects saves about 2 minutes, I'd say, 2 to 2.5 minutes. The climbing, we haven't really sat down to sort of time it, but it's at least 2 minutes. Based on how our PBs improved after Baron Haynes discovered that. We were sitting at around 105 to 106, and we started breaking 105 pretty quickly soon after that skip. After that skip was discovered. Yeah, the world record right now is 102.54. Valkyrie, a runner from Spain, holds the record. Baron's second, and I'm third.
Baron is in chat here. I can see him cheering you on there.
Oh, good. Yeah, he was really like the first Syphon filter speedrun. This is going back to like the mid-2000s. He really got the ball rolling, and then JY really perfected a lot of his ideas, and then Valkyrie and me came along a couple of years ago.
Oh, apparently Valkyrie is also in chat.
Excellent. They do read my messages. Okay. Okay, one more scientist after this. Now the Rose Chapel up ahead here, you know, it's one idea we've had where it's like, is it possible to find a way to climb down without dying and go for the last scientist, who's kind of in the opposite direction, because we're basically doing a giant circle as far as routing is concerned to get to this last scientist. So far we haven't been able to find one. So instead of you know, doing all that, we have to do this sort of big loop around as a result. But although I'm not exactly sure it would save time, but it would probably be a little more convenient overall if we could find a quick and safe setup for it. But it is not to be, apparently. All right, so last scientist up ahead, and then just a few more guards to get around. I don't mind burning G18 ammo because I'm going to pick up a crate in the catacombs for it.
Kind of looks like these guards are dressed as monks.
Yeah, this is basically supposed to be a chapel that Fagin and Romer are using as cover for their bio weapon attack planning.
Oh, so they are dressed as monks. I was just...
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but now Fagin is run afoul of Romer, and Romer is basically holding him captive in the catacombs, so I have to go get him. And for the sake of the story, Leon was actually captured during the chopper mission, and she'll be in here too.
Security has been breached. Roma has ordered that the...
So, I'm actually going to let this cutscene play out because it actually speeds it up by a couple of seconds.
If you are seen, you won't be able to get in.
Have an evac standing by. It won't be long.
I can see it loads in the level as you're doing it, yeah.
Yeah. So that saves a couple of seconds there. So you got to hear some great 1999 voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
So this next section here is a 2.5 minute of me following the scientist around. And unfortunately, unlike Fagin, I cannot make this go faster. So I just got to basically just sit here and just snipe the guards as they walk past, and just make sure I'm not spotted. It's pretty basic. There's only one guard that can be a little problematic, and that's the guard coming up ahead after I round this corner. But yeah, so this is the beginning to probably the most aggravating mission in the game, and it's not even close. It's largely because of the second section of this mission. This mission is broken into 3 sections. Section 1 is following the scientist. Section 2 is escorting Fagin to Leon's cell, and Section 3 is Leon and Gabe running for the exit. The first and third are pretty aren't too bad. It's the second one with Fagin and his idiotic AI that can really screw things up. And we've been kind of working on and off on a way to make it, you know, less awful, but Fagin will be Fagin, and he will just find ways to make your life miserable, because that's what he does. I'm going to let that guard appear. Grab the G18. Come in handy for Leon's portion of the mission. What I found is actually crouching allows us to skip that cutscene altogether. I don't know why, but it does. So it's about a 2-second time save. So now, I'm going to have to basically escort Fagin through this entire area and take out these guards as I go along. The good news is the guards have no RNG as far as, you know, where they are, where they appear, and whether or not they have flak jackets or not. So you can actually set up the route pretty consistently as far as that goes, but you still got to account for Fagin being stupid.
No, this way.
So I'm going to pick up the K3G4 in this crate here to take out these guards. The only other thing with Fagin is do not run directly in front of him. He will stop. And that, you know, it takes like 4 or 5 seconds to get going again. So that's my one checkpoint during the Fagin babysitting portion of this.
Surprised they gave you any.
Yeah, they give you one for Fagin and one for Leon. Why are you not moving, Fagin? So he just does random stuff like this, like, oh, I don't want to move. I'm, you know, too weak and old. But notice that green target box is something I can implement to basically focus in on a particular enemy. It's actually kind of useful until it decides to be really random and jerky on you. That's mostly in Syphon Filter 2 and 3 where it really becomes a problem. And there's Fagin getting held hostage by a guard, so I have to save him again. So yeah, Fagin is just... it's a relief when he's gone.
Somebody ought to do something about his back. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Running around hunched over like that
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a great idea.
So now I'm going to switch to the K3G4 for this last section because about half the guards have flak jackets. And you know, it's just easier just to run through them with this.
This way.
Okay, just 3 more guards. And done with Fagin. I will say Fagin was largely well behaved except for that one spot where he got around the stairs and getting stopped by that one guard. He was actually pretty fast.
That's her cell. You're on your own now.
Now I'm going to do something very horrible to Leon here.
Let's get out of here. Check your fire.
Should be... There we go. Basically, if you damage her enough, instead of stopping to deal with the guard, she'll just run straight through. And as long as you follow her and stay pretty close behind her, you'll save about 2 minutes overall. A similar trick actually works in Syphon Filter 3. It saves about 1 minute for one of the missions.
This got to be the first time I've seen where shooting someone in the leg makes them go faster.
Hey, we're talking about Sega logic earlier with Echo the Dolphin, so I get this one. By and large, I just gotta be more cognizant of my health than Leon's actually. That's why I'm gonna take that flak jacket there, and another way out. So checkpoints at the bottom of these stairs after in a couple of seconds. Then it's pretty much like another 45 seconds to the finish. So I'm going to help myself with one more flak jacket just to be safe. That guard that I took down that was kind of charging at me, it's actually surprising how dangerous that is, because he has the 45, and that's the most powerful handgun in the game, and that can do a lot of damage very quickly on you. But so no guards here, so up the stairs. So we're gonna ignore the last 2 guards here. They're kind of last 3 guards kind of hiding there, and just go straight to the finish.
There's someone up ahead.
Please.
And there goes Fagin.
Fair enough.
Aramov actually is the one who kills him. And now we come to the final section of the game, the warehouses and tunnels. The first mission here is probably the most random, and I'm going to hope for a good weapon pattern here. I want a kind of a mix of PK-102 and combat shotgun ammo. I got PKs right off the bat, which is fine. The shotgun is more for later, but
Erickson, move.
Who are you? What do you want?
I'll ask them.
so no, you're supposed to get a viral scanner that allows you to tag certain crates that have the Syphon filter virus stored in test subjects. Luckily, there's no RNG to that, so I can just don't have to pick up this viral scanner at all.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. So it's basically Fagin's men in the white are going to war with Romer's men in the blue, and I'm kind of stuck in the middle here. I'm just going to largely try and ignore them as much as I possibly can. Well, I'm sure they'll make that difficult.
It does look like the carriers you have to tag are also like fairly like conspicuously placed.
Yeah.
So just don't go around tagging random things.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, of course, after playing the game 14,000 times, of course you know which ones to tag.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, like the first time through, you're probably spending about 15 minutes going through like a dozen warehouses, trying to find out which ones have it and which ones don't. So I'm going to grab the K3G4 here, which is going to be extremely important down the stretch, particularly in the last 2 missions. Let the guards take each other out. Got to be careful with the shotgun guards, because that's half of your armor at close range. Oof. So I'm going to throw a grenade here to get these guards on the other side of this electrified fence to go away, or to disperse, because otherwise they'll be shooting at me while I'm trying to shimmy. But that alerts Romer's men in blue, and now they're going to shoot each other rather than me. Now, which guards actually get killed and which don't is complete RNG, so I have really no way of manipulating that. Basically, I'm just trying to avoid taking damage.
Is there some guards you'd rather die than others?
It doesn't really matter, just so long as, you know, they're not aiming at me, and that, again, is fairly random. So this, I'm going to throw a grenade here, and I'm going to throw another grenade as I go through the door, because I'm going to take out an enemy spawn. Hope that got all... No, it didn't. These guards are throwing grenades, and they have flak jackets. That guard just took himself out. Threw the grenade into his own wall. And that's the end of the viral carriers. So, rest of this is pretty straightforward. There's going to be a couple of guards up ahead. I'm going to, again, let them shoot at each other rather than me. And sometimes they don't actually play along, and that'll cost me about 10 seconds if they don't. So, Because there's the 2 guards that'll kind of sort of run into don't have flak jackets, but the 3 at the end of this tunnel here do. So I'd rather them take each other out to save time. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, good. They're running towards the action. So they ignore me, and I'm through. Last guard is just standing there, so I'm just going to slip past him, and that's the end of the first warehouse mission. So, in my splits, the next mission I call Full Metal Flak Jacket, and the reason for that is every guard from this point on is wearing a flak jacket, so that means headshots are mandatory, unless you really want to waste a lot of ammo.
Leon, I found shipping manifests for parts. Leon, check.
So, but this mission is, again, much like the last one. Tag viral carriers and find Warehouse 76. And getting to Warehouse 76 is a bit of a chore, but you know, such as it is. Now there's going to be, I'm going to hope for a guard to appear by another fence here. It's kind of random if he does or doesn't, but if he does, it'll save me a little bit of time, sort of on the back end. And there he is, early grenade guard. So normally when I take the back route, there's gonna be a guard kind of standing there at the end of this by this fence here. Yeah, I got caught up there. I got caught up focusing on the wrong thing. That's all right.
Oh, but you get a checkpoint every time you tag a thing.
Yeah.
A little more generous in this part. But I guess that negated the early grenade guard bonus.
Yeah, it's all right. It wasn't a. I'm probably gonna end up sort of breaking even, but it will sort of depend on my execution in the tunnels here. But it's not a big deal. That slow climb is what we used to have to deal with Gabe climbing, but no longer. It's a godsend. Okay. I'm actually going to let these guards appear.
Right.
The trick, if early grenade guard doesn't appear, is I roll off the edge, plant the viral carrier, and then make a run for the bottom of the tunnel and let the grenade guard actually take out his own men by mistake. It's a bit of precise movement, but it does save some time. So I'm going to use a little K3G4 ammo here. Mostly to get through this opening section here. The Biz 2 actually I got because I took out that extra guard by the grenade guard, which I normally don't do. The Biz 2 is probably the second most powerful gun in the game, partly because it has a 66 round magazine, but also it has a lot of power.
Gabe, that's Warehouse 76. The entrance to this...
I was a little worried there when Leon got cut off. I thought a grenade might have actually accidentally killed me because, yes, you can die while the cutscene is sort of loading. So,
Leon, ask Mara. Right.
here there are 2 more fire skips I'm going to execute. Both are pretty easy, but again, just got to be careful. Using a 2-handed weapon like the PK102 really helps with the risk. That was a good roll. That's one. The second one's at the end. My only checkpoint for the mission. Luckily, this mission's very short. It's only about 90 seconds long. I'm going to help myself to a few safeties here. And yes, you can catch on fire if you get too close to a guard who's on fire. It's kind of embarrassing when it happens, but you know, another thing to watch out for. Ooh, almost got hit by that shotgun guard. Might have had to take the safe route if that had happened. Small risk of soft lock here, incidentally, but I'm going to play it safe with this.
I found the elevator down. Did you reach anyone yet?
Sometimes what happens is you'll start moving and then Leon won't say anything and the elevator will just go endlessly and then, well, you're screwed. Okay. So 3 to go. First of the tunnel missions. Now, this mission isn't especially difficult, but this again only has 1 checkpoint, and it's at the halfway point of the mission. So you gotta be a little careful. I'm just playing it safe here with those guards. The one closest to me throws grenades. I got the Mara skip, where I'm gonna just climb up to that platform without having to talk to Leon. The reason I call it the Mara skip is because Mara has information about the lasers that are sort of impeding my progress, and that's what this whole mission ends up being about, which is disabling the lasers. So now I'm gonna switch to the Biz for pretty much the rest of this mission.
Guessing basically all of these enemies have ammunition for that weapon.
A fair amount of them do. They start consistently carrying it for the Biz, in this, starting with this mission. There are a few in the warehouse levels who do have it, but it's not consistent. The second warehouse mission does have a crate though with the Biz, but it's a bit of a time. It's about a 5-6 second time loss to get it, so I just generally ignore it. So I'm just going to let this play out. Now this is actually a discovery I made and it was completely by accident, but if I shoot this switch up ahead, I will not have to deal with any guards when I come out of this corridor. Normally, if you press the switch, 4 guards will appear and a couple of them are throwing grenades. But if you shoot the switch, the guards don't think to respawn and you get a pretty easy path out of here. So that turned out, that's a huge time save. I was hoping to get for a bigger roll there, but that's alright. So it's just 9 guards to go, and I'm done with this mission. And they come in waves of 3, which makes it even better. The middle section of guards you can ignore, but if one of them tags you, particularly the shotgun guard, it really makes the final section a little more dangerous than it has to be, so I'm just going to take care of them like that.
So how much precision is involved in aiming for those headshots?
A fair amount. Luckily, the toggle will tell you, like, headshots, so the game is pretty helpful that way, but, you know, it's just practice more than anything else, and just kind of getting yourself acclimated to the controls. The Valkyrie and Baron, I believe, use joysticks. I use the D-pad, actually, for my run. Oop.
And just for anyone who can't tell, this is on the PS1, right?
Correct. Well, I'm playing on an emulator, but yes, this is a PS1 game. Okay. Mission's done. I'm making more explosions happen.
Valkyrie's saying he uses D-pad too.
Oh, he does. I thought he used the joystick.
And Baron says I use both.
He uses both. Okay. I thought Valkyrie was an adherent to the joystick.
Are you there?
Right.
Okay, I'm actually gonna switch over to the PK102 for this. Should have done it earlier, but that's all right. So that's one more fire skip. So now this next mission is in total blackout, but you know, nothing too difficult. The final section could be a little perilous, but otherwise this is pretty straightforward. The guards, there's no RNG to the guards in general except for the end, and they always appear in the same place. Normally, you're supposed to pick up a night vision rifle for this mission, so you can sort of snipe the guards, but that takes too long, so just run and gun. So if I didn't crouch and crawl to the edge there and then drop down, I'd be dead. If I just did a straight drop down, I'd be dead. So that is the only way to get down. That guard I don't necessarily have to take out, because if I slip past him, he actually won't see me. But there's a small risk that he can, and since he's armed with a biz, I'd rather just take care of him right there. Thank you, guard, for shooting me. Okay, this next section here, I'm gonna have to be really focused, because this could end very badly. Okay. All right, good.
Leon, I found the elevator down to the silo.
That guard that appeared randomly on the left, there's about a 50-50 chance of him appearing or not, and unfortunately he did, but I was able to slip past, hug the wall,
Leon,
so he couldn't actually shoot at me.
check.
We got plenty of key 3G4 ammo for the finish. I'm going to get this guard to throw a grenade, and hopefully he takes out one of the guards at the bottom there. It would appear he did not. It's alright. Now you gotta move kind of quickly here, because there is actually a timer on this rocket launching. So we start hearing the countdown in Russian. You better move and get the codes. I'm gonna try and go for the silo skip here, where I'm gonna try to get through the door as quickly as I can, and then have Gabe roll out. Dude, just short. But basically, what would happen is Gabe runs out, rolls through the silo doors before they close, and then comes out, and Gabe actually will not be harmed by the flames from the rocket. I don't know why, but it saves about it's pretty cool, and it saves about 8 seconds.
Gabe, I'm intercepting frantic calls from
So
Gabe's
there are.
command. They're tracking
So there
the
is a.
missile launch.
So
All
there are
European
there's
commanders
two
being ordered to
scientists
DEFCON
up ahead.
3.
One is a
We don't
key
get to
card,
defend
one
the
is just
level
there
two
as
We're
for
looking at
show.
World War III.
And I'm gonna try and get the guard with the key, the scientist with the key card. It's a really good draw. Got to move quickly because there's a biz guard closing in behind me, so I got to get in the door before he appears. Time will be coming up in about 30 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna grab these gas grenades here so I can kill Romer. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna throw it in a specific place, and when he actually appears, it's gonna make a very quick work of this final boss fight. That was weird. Just kind of hovered in the air there. All right. So time's coming up after. Ready and okay and time.
108.46.
Not bad with three deaths. It's pretty solid.
All right.
What now?
Congratulations.
We get the lab guy started on this disc. and
Good
you're
run,
vaccine.
proa007
No,
on
I mean,
Syphon filter.
All of this.
Thank you.
What's happened here? Markinson's involvement.
So yeah,
Go ahead.
real quick,
their plans,
shout outs
the
to
virus.
Valkyrie
What's
and
it all
Baron, who
I don't
have
know.
kindly
If
put up
Marcus
with
is
my
dead, I
persistent
don't know if we'll
questioning
ever know.
and strategies over the last couple of years. Thanks very much to them, and thanks to JY. And everyone in the Syphon Filter Discord, and shout outs to the Mario 3 Rando community who came out to watch. So thanks all.
All right. Once again, great run, proa007. We're going to be setting up the next run, which will be Walking Eye with the Any% 1-player 2 controllers on Legend of Oasis. And